Hello and welcome to another episode of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. I'm your host, Carol May Whittick, Spiritual Life Coach. This week we're talking about patience, why it can get misinterpreted, but then on deeper inspection we can see that it is a test of fortitude and faith, and actually the creator of real strength. Quote from Henri J.M. Nouwen: "A waiting person is a patient person. The word patience means the willingness to stay where we are and live the situation out to the full in the belief that something hidden there will manifest itself to us." From Fulton J. Sheen: "Patience is power. Patience is not the absence of action, rather it is timing. It waits on the right time to act, for the right principles, and in the right way." So when I was growing up, one of the things that my mum always used to say to me, especially when I wanted something ahead of time, was to remind me that patience was a virtue. And in that, what she was saying is take a pause and not have what I want straight away, or not be overly excited and have everything sooner than was waiting, was actually virtuous and was actually good. And in that way that parents do, is they actually reverse psychologize you into doing what they want to do by pointing out the advantages to doing what they want to do in a kind of twisted, inadvertent way. I hope that makes sense. So to see patience as a virtue, and when I was looking at the just basic definitions of a virtue, was moral excellence and righteousness, goodness, an example of kind or moral excellence. And also patience is called a fruit of the Spirit from the Bible, from Galatians 5:22 to 23, is a fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There is no law against these things. So when we start to hear how righteous patience is, maybe we want to adopt patience a little more. And my inspiration for patience this week just came from somebody saying to me, well, maybe patience means inaction. That wasn't necessarily the first thing that came to me, because I was always thinking about how I was told patience was a virtue, but also in reflecting in my own life, nothing has come at the time that I've wanted it to, and I've always had to wait way longer than I would have liked to have waited. But what I have realized over the course of time in that waiting is there is so much that is done in that period of waiting, that when you actually reach what it is that you're going for, there's so much more gratitude for what you get. So I'm going to break down a little bit more what I've learned about patience, and maybe it will inspire you to look at patience in a different way, so that when you're being tasked to wait a little bit longer and to be patient, that you can actually utilize that time. From Roy T. Bennett, The Light in the Heart: patience is not the ability to wait. Patience is to be calm no matter what happens, constantly take action to turn it into positive growth opportunities, and have faith to believe that it will all work out in the end while you are waiting. It's not inaction. And even from Benjamin Franklin, he said, "He that can have patience can have what he will." So if I think of many of the things that I have had to wait on, initially it's never a beautiful space to be in, because you want what you want and you want it now, right? And we are in this instant gratification society. We can have pretty much anything that we want, any answer, any information that we need on something pretty much instantly. And with the advent of online shopping and same-day delivery, we can pretty much have what we want in terms of consumer items within hours, maybe even within minutes, depending on our proximity to where these things are being delivered to us. So the idea of having to wait, the idea of having to build on something slowly, is foreign to us and almost seems so laboursome. But in that patience, in that slowing down, in that having to wait for your fruits, as it were, so much can be done. If I think about the times that I've had to be patient, and it's a lifelong journey, in that patience, it gives me the opportunity to really reflect on what it is that I'm aiming for, how I've approached the situation at this point in time. Have I done enough to actually warrant having something right now? Maybe the reason that I'm not given what I believe that I should have at this very moment in time is because there are areas that I've not addressed. And this waiting, this having to be patient, is actually an opportunity for me to really just check out what it is that I'm doing and the way that I'm doing it. From Rainier Maria Rilke: have patience with everything that remains unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves like locked rooms and like books written in a foreign language. Do not now look for the answers. They cannot now be given to you because you could not live them. It is a question of experiencing everything. At present, you need to live in the question. Perhaps you will gradually, without even noticing it, find yourself experiencing the answer some distant day. And what I like about that quote is just thinking about the things that I would have wanted 5 or 6 months ago or weeks ago. Did I have the capacity to experience them? Did I have the capacity to be able to utilize them? Would I have been in as much gratitude in receiving something instantly than I would do if I had to just sit and wait and prepare the space for that to be given to me? And also, as she says in this quote, is sometimes the pursuit of wanting something instantly is expecting it to just land in its fullness in your lap. And in that being patient, it actually just kind of gradually encompasses you and it gradually appears in your life. And suddenly you'll take stock and realize that all the things that you were yearning for in the instant and wanted to have actually found themselves into your life in a very natural and ease-filled way. I can just think about the things that I have now, the technology that I have available to me to be able to create from home, to be able to work from home, to be able to make these podcasts, and also to be able to learn so much. There was a time years ago when I didn't have any of these things, and it seemed at that point out of my reach to be able to have any of that technology. I didn't seem to have the funds to get it. I didn't have the funds to get the right ones or the ones that I wanted. And yet slowly over time, all of these things have very naturally creeped into my life that I'm able to work and communicate with you here without any real fuss and without any real fanfare. It's just one moment of me just looking around and going, here I am doing what I wanted to do. I remember over 10 years ago when I was working in a members bar in London, and I was really frustrated with it because I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at home creating. And what I noticed was so many people were coming in with their laptops and working from their laptops. And when I'd query them and ask them what they were doing, they'd be like, oh, I'm working, and they were doing all these different creative things. And I just thought, what a freedom that is to be able to just sit and be able to work and connect and create. And there are pluses and minuses to that, of course, because you become overly insular. We kind of lose that connection with each other on a real level. So we have to find that balance. But the freedom that I witnessed in front of me was something that really inspired me as a way to work. And here I am doing it. And it came over time. It came over time of me just learning a little bit of how to use the tools and the software and how to be able to communicate to people that this is what I was able to do to them and be able to offer my services to them in a way that they would be happy to compensate me for. So I was never at the point of being able to do it there and then, but that inspiration, that awareness of there being a new way of being, the seed was planted, and then I, over time, patiently started to learn how to make that a reality for myself. And I was able to do that not only in the UK, but also around the world as I travelled. So patience is allowing ourselves the time to gather the skills and the confidence even to see ourselves in that new space. From Francis de Sales: never be in a hurry. Do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. Do not lose your inner peace for anything whatsoever, even if your whole world seems upset. For what is anything in life compared to peace of soul? And in my periods of being, I would have to say, forced into patience, because like I said, I wanted everything and I wanted it now, it gave me the opportunity to build and learn. And as it was saying, become peaceful, become patient, and cultivate a gratitude for something that I believed was going to come as long as I kept doing the work. There was never a moment of me feeling that I just had to sit and do nothing. My patience came from understanding that there was a timing to everything, and that in eventuality I would be able to have the reward and reap the harvest. A quote from Moliere that would be an example of this, that says, "Trees that are slow to grow bear the best fruit." And from Lao Tzu, trying to understand is like straining through muddy water. Have the patience to wait, be still, and allow the mud to settle. And in my times of being patient and the waiting and the honing of my skills, and also the honing of my own fortitude and expectation, I did notice, one, the peace that came, but also that there came a clarity in what I was noticing about what it was that I really wanted. When we want to charge forward and say that we want everything now, we're whizzing past at such speed that we can't necessarily see all the details of what it is that we're aiming for or what it is that we're bringing to it. And as Lao Tzu is saying here, by being still, by allowing the dust to settle and the mud to fall to the bottom, is then we get the clarity. If we just think of the picture of that, the clarity of the water gives us then the opportunity to see what it is that we are charging towards with such speed, wanting to have it right now. It's building a strength. As Aristotle says, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. As I said, we are all aware of the instant gratification society that we live in, and it's one thing when you're young and you're eager and you want things to be happening all at the same time, but it gives you an opportunity to pay attention. And this is kind of echoing a quote from Paulo Coelho, who said that patience is important because it makes us pay attention. It allows us to see the detail, to refine, to recoup, to build our strength. The people that have had to wait longer for things, the people that have had to work harder for an end goal, do have a different level of fortitude, if you imagine, than people who had everything that they wanted instantly land on their laps. And the biggest lesson in patience for us all, especially when we are on a spiritual path, a path of spiritual awakening, a path of healing, a path of growth, a path of doing the work, is that we have to be patient. We have to be patient with ourselves and allow ourselves to make mistakes, snap back into old behaviors, but allow ourselves to recognize that we are continually making the effort. It's through making the effort continually, but patiently moving towards the goal that we have in mind, we will then get the opportunity to see what it is that we're working on. If we all woke up one day and we were completely self-actualized and we could see that we were fully awakened and we'd gotten over all of our stuff, would it really be as sweet as the journeys that we are all taking in our own way, as we slowly unpick the traumas and the bad habits, and clearing away all the things that are not us, piece by piece, for us to patiently become closer to what it is that we want. But in the same way, we have in mind what it is that we are creating. And it's the kind of the tension between us seeing where we want to go and allowing ourselves to move forward with that, and that tension of us moving towards what we want and allowing everything that is not us to fall away. Paulo Coelho in Veronica Decides to Die, his quote is, "The two hardest tests on the spiritual road are the patience to wait for the right moment and the courage not to be disappointed with what we encounter." And to close, from Brian Weiss, "Inner peace is impossible without patience. Wisdom requires patience. Spiritual growth implies the mastery of patience. Patience allows the unfolding of destiny to proceed at its own unhurried pace." So thank you so much for joining me on another exploration on higher energetic resonance inspirations. I hope that brought some inspiration to you. Today, I'm not leaving a meditation practice as such, but what I would encourage you to do is to acknowledge areas where your patience has paid off in your life, so that if there is something that you are working on now or waiting for now that is taking longer than you would like it to take, that you can appreciate that it's just a process, that things do come to you eventually. And when you do reach that goal that you're aiming for, that you wish you had now, the attaining of it is so much sweeter when patience has been your only option. And if you would like to join the Embody Higher Energetic Resonance journey, please check the link in the show notes. It's a 3-step to becoming the woman of your dreams. You get a daily visualization from me, you get a journal, and you work through that for a week, and you just get a taste of what it feels energetically to be in the space of the woman that you want. And like I said, it's a patience process, but if we can feel what it's like that we're moving towards, we can actually start to move forward with confidence, as opposed to thinking that these things are so far away from us. Also, to find out anything more from me, it's carolmaywhittick.com, CarolMaywhittick.com. On Facebook, Carol May Whittick, and Instagram, Casmic, CAZMICK. Thanks again. Enjoy your week. See you next week.